Hi, and welcome to my Tuesday evening live card making tutorial. This evening I'm going to be using the textured floral stamp set and dies with soft stamping with striking results. I'm going to create a really soft but background that'll make everything, it'll offset the floral. So let me start by introducing myself. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 24 years, I've been teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles through my YouTube videos, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. Oh, and Miss Cheryl is already here. And actually, we were chatting, and so very excited. So let me show you. Here we go. The textured floral. Look at that stamp set and the dies. My goodness. So the textured floral stamp set, here we go. This is retiring and discounted 10%. And look at that. But I love watercolor images. And so this looks watercolored, so it's not a perfectly solid. It fades in and out some. And then we have the coordinating dies to go with it. Now these are discounted 30%. So look, we have the open dies, the image dies, right? To die cut the images, and then some intricate dies going on here. But every image, other than maybe that splatter, we can die cut. And so you can just add all kinds of detail. And I have mine stored on one of these magnet cards. And you know what? Stampin' Storage announced today a 3-day only free shipping special. They didn't share any exclusions, so other than for the continental United States. So store-wide, even the biggest items they have. So free shipping. All right, so April 15th through April 17th, 2025. And so what I love about these magnet cards, are super strong. They just cling like no one's business. Instead of putting them back onto the cardboard with the tape, and then I slide them into one of these storage pockets to store them. And when I get around to it, I do put a label on there. In the meantime, I put that insert in there. And so I always do know the name of the set. So free shipping on not just what I'm showing you here, the magnet cards and the storage pockets, but store wide. Very, very cool. Okay, so let's come back and see who has checked in. And Miss Adelaide, no, Adelaide. I was told that is a stronger A. You'll have to let me know if that's correct. And Miss Danette, oh, fantastic. And Miss Debbie, well, good evening. I'm so glad you all are here with me. And was there anything else I wanted to tell you? So the stamp set on sale, the dies, only while supplies last. They're on the last chance list. And today someone called in placing an order, and there were several things already sold out. The boho blue, the only thing left are the blends. Like, oh, so no more cardstock. So you really need to get on over to my online store, www.shopwithshelley.com, before more of your favorites just suddenly sell out. So we have some stamping to do, and we need to prep, all right, some cardstock for the die cutting, because I will use some of the intricate dies. Okay, and so what I have here is some Mossy Meadow cardstock, and with the intricate die, to make it easier, I'm using an adhesive sheet. And I cut this smaller than my cardstock or paper, because before I was trying to cut it perfectly and I went over the edge, and oh my goodness, I had adhesive all over my cutting plates. That's not a good thing. All right, there's a break in here. Those breaks are nice because it makes it easier to peel it off, because what I'm going to do with this is make self-adhesive die cuts. And I used to just shove them up next to each other. Well, again, it's easier when there's a little bit of a break. I don't need 100% coverage. And then let's press on there. And so when I run this through, like I said, it'll just have adhesive all over the back. That's a really good thing. So we've got some stamping to do. I went ahead and did that because sometimes I forget. All right, so what I have here is some basic white cardstock. And whenever you're stamping on white cardstock, you absolutely want to use the Stampin' Up! Basic white cardstock. It has a smooth, tight finish to give you crisp, clean images. So we're going to start with Petunia Pop Classic Stamping Pad. Pick this up and slide that in. And this is a photopolymer stamp set. So the rubber is, well, clear until some of it gets stained. You know, if you use any of the reds, you know, the pinks, some browns, any of that, but that's okay. I remember when I first started using them and I stamped and something got stained. And I asked someone who'd been using them for a long, long time. She was really excited that we had them. I said, does it bother you when they get stained? She goes, oh, no, no, I can find them. And if you've ever, oh, isn't that pretty? If you ever misplaced a photopolymer clear stamp, you'd understand that. See what I'm talking about? Look at that shading. I love that watercolor look. That's what I would want to do if I were coloring. And so it's already done for me. And then, well, we're using Mossy Metal cardstock. So I'm sure you're not surprised. I'm using Mossy Metal Classic Stampin' Pad. Pick that up, slide that in. And then we have this greenery. So this is not pictured at actual size. It's at, what does it say, 80% or 90? 80%. So much bigger. I mean, that 20% makes a difference. So let's get this good and inked. And I've got this on a clear block D. If you're not using our clear blocks, you will love them. You've got that groove in here and everything's rounded, no sharp edges, making it very comfortable to hang on to. And then again, this will create its own natural shading. Love it. All right, so we are done with this. And here we go. And I'm excited to show you the background. It's going to be really subtle, but it does set everything off. And then our flower. Oh, I didn't tell you the color, Misty Moonlight. If you're on YouTube or my blog watching, all the supplies are listed under the video. All right, let's turn this. And here we go. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. And look at that shading again. That just tickles me to no end, the shading. I would gather to say this is what a distinctive stamp set, where they was Stampin' Up's patent pending process to get that amazing shading with one inking. Brilliant. Okay. All right, so that is it. We will do the background later, but we are ready for our die cutting. So let's put this aside and grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. There we go. And if you haven't yet, oh, Miss Patricia's here too. If you haven't yet, please give my video. So you've got that handle to be able to carry it around. Wonderful. And these fold up. And I'm going to move the handle. There we go. Out of the picture. So I could use plate number 1 and plate number 2, and that is perfectly fine with some adhesive, but instead I prefer to use the magnetic platform. I picked this up on Amazon, and when I tilt that, you see all those little circles? Those are the magnets. So regardless if you use plate number 1 and plate number 2, you still need a plate number 3, a cutting plate, and I'm rotating it. So normally this would be over here, but you know, I like to rotate my plates, and then I use them for the longest time, for a long, long time, because I do that rotating. All right. Whoops. Let's see. I am trying to scroll back up. There we go. That always disappears when I pull something up. Okay. So now we need our cardstock, our stamped basic white cardstock, and our dies. So I've got this open die. Probably won't be able to do all of them at the same time because you saw how those circles I was chasing. All right, let me turn this over. Actually, I may prefer this one. Let's try that. And I let it fall and take the cardstock to where it's clinging. All right, did you see how it pulled? That wasn't me moving it. The magnet pulled it. So I for my best results, I find the magnets. So we can try to do another one. We'll see if it's hitting a magnet just right. And if not, I just, okay, no, it's not. You can see how they jump like the Mexican jumping beans. Okay, I had that and then I got all kinds of fancy. All right, so that's looking pretty good from here. So, and then I need another plate number 3. And so try moving it around. It's really common, to go right in the center. I go, you can see from my cutting plates, to the edges and try not to just stay in the center all the time. So we'll crank that through. We'll see what we get. Last week I decided, because I stand up and hover over, well, I stood up and I couldn't see through my phone. So we'll see what I get. Hey, that is not bad, but because I couldn't see, I do have one all ready to go. Okay, I've done a lot worse. And so the magnet platform doesn't make me a perfect stamper, but it certainly has made me a better stamper. All right, and then right back on these magnet cards and free shipping. Oh, love free shipping. Oh, that really found it. Did you hear that? Whoop. Okay, so we'll rotate this. All right, from my vantage point, not bad. We'll see what we get. All right, cutting plate again, and place it on there. Don't scoot it on. You scoot it on, you'll move the die. So if you use plate number 1 and plate number 2, to get to that appropriate thickness, the same thickness you get with a magnetic platform, you'll want to hold it in place with something. Washi tape, a Post-it note. Yeah, that turned out great. Something to hold it in place, but that won't tear the cardstock. And, I cut into that one. All right. And let's come over here and one more. Let's find the magnet. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. And there we go. Oh, and then we have the die cutting with the intricate dies. So I'm not going to do this twice. You get the idea of how to die cut, right? We've done 3. Yeah, I didn't do, but I have 2 more of those done. I didn't do that. I mean, not the worst thing in the world, but by now, if you follow me, I just have some issues, and I would totally stamp that again and get it right. All right. So now this, I will be able to do both because I don't need it to be perfectly centered. So I'm using both of these. So here, put that on there. I just need to keep it on there. There we go. And plate number 3 again. We'll crank that through. So if you haven't yet, I think I started to say it, please give my video a thumbs up and a share. I sure would appreciate that. And the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine does such a great job, even on the intricate dies. With our old machine, I used to then back up and do it 2-3 times to get it to cut through, and had to use a special plate. Not anymore. Look at that. Just cuts through it like butter. And if it does stick in there, well, we've got these little poke out holes. There we go. And pull that right out. So let's get those dies back on the magnetic platform. Miss Mimi, first time catching you live. What stamp set am I using? I am using the gorgeous but retiring textured floral. Beautiful. So that and the dies are retiring, and both are discounted. Oh, Miss Cheryl knew. Thank you. All right. So let's put all of this aside. And we've got a little bit more stamping to do. Okay. Let's just slide that in here. And so make sure you follow my link for the pockets. So you order the pockets and not the sleeves. The sleeves are for a different purpose than this. And if you think I found that out the hard way, well, of course I did. That's how I tend to learn most everything. Okay, so we've got all of our images. Let's get have that extra one cut and ready to go. And so I've got all this to put together. Excuse me. Suddenly my nose is dripping. Okay, we're good. And I've got some more basic white cardstock. So instead of just having a solid white background, I wanted to dress it up a little bit, but I wanted to be nice and subtle. Just really wanted a touch of color. And for that, I am using the Painted Stripes, this background stamp. This is an online exclusive, and I believe I have that here for you. There we go. So if you didn't see it in a catalog, that's why, because it is, like I said, an online exclusive. There are a lot of products sitting over there that are pictured online only. So if you're not seeing them, if you're not checking that out and under the video, if you're on YouTube or my blog watching, I have a link to the online exclusives because, like I said, it's something you just really want to be able to check out because you'll be missing way too much. So a lot more is hitting the online exclusive Stampin' Up! When they introduce a new catalog to leave a lot of room for artwork in the catalog. They've shifted some things to the online, and so we get a lot of samples, which is really nice. Oh, and speaking of that, I wanted to show you something today. Oh yeah, Miss Patricia, the Painted Stripes, just loves it. Oh, Miss Lauren, yeah. Okay, so today started the new Stampin' Rewards. We've talked about it before briefly. The system has changed, and it'll be really great for virtually everybody. Starting at only $20, a $20 order, you earn 10% in Stampin' Rewards. And so, but this is important, you have to opt in. So when you log into your online account, and you can do that in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, this screen comes up. And it says you can do it later, but you don't want to forget about it. So just click on Get Started. And when you do that, another screen pops up and tells you that you did it right. So I wanted you to see this. Very, very important. I don't want anyone to miss out on their Stampin' Rewards. And look at that. Look at that pretty background. This is that Painted Stripes. And very, very sharp. Okay, so any questions about that? Log in. I didn't have to do anything. This just came right up for me to go ahead and do that. So I just, yeah, make sure you do it. You don't want to miss out. And then as you place the order, it's telling you how much Stampin' Rewards you will earn as you add that to your cart. And then on your receipt, it tells you the total you earned. So, and they'll be sitting there for you the next time you go to order. All right. So for my background, look at how pretty the bubble bath and the petunia pop. The tones are gorgeous, aren't they? So this is going to be my background to give me that pink without being, because I wanted it very subtle of being too dark or needing to stamp off. So the bubble bath, pick this up, but I didn't want the entire area. So what I have here are my penny black background basics stencils. And I tried putting the QR code in, and Restream just wouldn't take it today. But the link is under the video on YouTube and my blog. And so I thought, ooh, but I didn't want the whole thing. And then I was going to try to stamp it oh so cleverly to get only part of it. And I thought, oh, no, no, no. Not when you have stencils like this. All right. And so I started with this one, thinking, okay, that would be just right. But I've got a lot going on, so I end up going to the larger one. Okay. And that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And of course, circles. So I started with this, ended up with, and you might think, this is the one. Here we go. You might think that's still going to be too big, but it worked out beautifully. So let's do this. And so this was something I picked up on Amazon. Miss Lauren received a confirming email too. You're right. Yes. Yep. So I just felt really good when I saw the congratulations on there. It's like, okay, I've got it. And then, so between that and like Miss Lauren said, the congratulations email that you opted in for the Stampin' Rewards, and then telling you that you're going to earn that. So I'm thinking that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't opted in. Okay, so don't you love, I love our firm foam pads. It used to be with the big backgrounds. If I did this, you would have had straight lines all over with those felt pads. And then we end up doing a brayer to get a nice smooth, but we don't need to do that. So here we go. Let's close this up. And so now this is going to help me mask off part of the air. And that's why Stampin' Up! Calls them decorative masks, because it masks off a section. And we'll come over here and stamp. But the cool thing is, because the way I'm doing it, it still won't be quite as big because it has an edge on it. Normally you would fill this in with, say, a blending brush, and you could get in every little, and this worked out just perfectly. So again, bubble bath is soft. You can see how this fades in and out. So my background will still be soft. It just won't fill the whole thing. And there we go. Can you see? This is exactly what I wanted. It is very subtle, but it worked out beautifully. So I only have stamping right in that area. All right, so let's start building our image, because this is the fun part, isn't it? We get all of this done. And this we can go ahead and start peeling it off. See, when you leave the space in between, and the adhesive sheets are, Stampin' Up! They're in my online store. All right, let me get my take your pick tool, get that started. But a little bit of a gap does make it easier to find the break to peel these off, as I make it look oh so easy. All right, so we talked about the clearance stuff. Tomorrow I have a link to after this is done uploading in HD, I'll have a link to my blog post with all of the measurements, as well as a downloadable PDF that will include the card sketch. There we go. And so that is a lot of fun. Now remember, again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's so important, because every year, I already had somebody trying to, disappointed when she couldn't get something that was available on April 1st. It was a stamp set, but it's just now gone. And so it's something you want to act quickly on when you see something you like. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. So we got adhesive all over that. To try to do the Stampin' seal on this, and with liquid glue, I tend to make a mess, like a little kid, I guess. And so these adhesive sheets just do make it really easy. And we also have the sticky dots. I'm so glad you reminded me, Miss Lauren. I did forget about that confirmation email. It's always good to get confirmation. Okay, so we've got all of that. So, and this one, I will use my favorite adhesive ever, Stampin' Dimensionals. Ooh, a new package. Woo-hoo-hoo. Boy, I go through these things. Adding dimension, the name, with that little bit of a lift, adds so doggone much. And on this one, I will want one on this side. When you think about it, it'll be on this side. There we go. And we'll take our Stampin' Seal. Oh, Miss Lynn is here too. Well, hello. Well, you know what? The good thing is the video will be there for you to watch later. So that's really good. And I did show the screen for opting into Stampin' Rewards. Okay, so let's go ahead while we're just adhesiving, is that a word? Everything up. Oh, Miss Carla is here. What a good group tonight. And tax day, I hope you got yours in the mail. My estimated taxes, I got those in the mail. It's like, okay, now let's get started on this year. All right. So big day, tax day, and new Stampin' rewards. And so our really pretty subtle background that we're able to create with the penny black stencils and the painted stripes, that big background stamp. Okay, so let's start with this one. I'm just going to place. I don't want to press down yet. Yep. All right, so let's do that. And what I want is bring back the mossy meadow. Pick this up. There we go. Slide that in. I want this and that splatter. Remember this splatter? All right. My background's really soft, so I want my splatter to be soft. So I want to come in here, a little bit of splatter. Let's do this again. Stamping off. So I'm stamping off exactly what the technique name is, some of the ink to soften the color, but still have, right, that same color. I still have the color, but just softer. Okay, I want to rotate that, but I really want that big one over here. So but after I get everything on there, it won't be obvious that I hadn't rotated it. And so there we go. And that's included. All right. This is part of the textured floral. All right. So now we're done with this. And we can start our placement. And I've got this silicone mat underneath me. So even though I place that down right on there, and if you're thinking, oh no, she just messed up, the silicone mat, I just really very much like that. And that's something else I picked up on Amazon because adhesive doesn't stick to it. It keeps my area clean. There's only one downside. If I stamp over the edge, you know, it's a non-porous surface, so ink can be there. You'll have to be careful. You don't want to pick up ink. But that adhesive doesn't stick makes me very, very happy. Okay, so let's do that. This overlaps a little bit and see we've got this peeking out. All right, let's go ahead with our flower. And again, I don't press until I'm happy so I can rotate things around. Oh, look at that peeking out. That's looking good. This one will go underneath up here. Some of that. And see here, because part of it's on here in that dimensional, is to make up the difference. And then we've got that little bit of splatter. So we got splatter peeking out all over. Isn't that sharp? And then can you see those stripes? Just really add a lot. And it would have been really easy to turn this into a clean and simple, just doing it all, you know, on the basic white thick. But I think that blue really sets it off. So let's do this. And I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal. And can you believe it, this morning? I mean, it was too warm. Nothing begun to stick at all. But instead of rain, we actually had some snow showers. We said not one drop of it stuck, but like, okay. And now it's all sunny. It has been really crazy. And don't you like this? Oh, Miss Cheryl, she loves the stamp set. It is gorgeous. That little bit. And then I thought, what am I going to? And I tried all kinds of colors, and I loved the bubble bath. And I think, you know, that helped with that pink background, but really allowed my petunia pop flower to pop. All right, so, oh, no. Could have, but Stampin' Dimensionals, when we take and pick up that layer, it just makes it extra special. And I've thought about it a lot. Of course, you know, our eye likes dimension, but it also creates a little bit of a shadow. There we go. Take your pick tool. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, Miss Shirley says they're going to get some snow tonight. Well, if it's like, I mean, it was in the 60s here yesterday, so way too warm, but it was just funny. But because I refuse to put the snowblower away until it's time to mow the lawn. I'm just not risking it. It's not in my way, and it's like, nope, it is just perfectly fine where it is. And isn't that really pretty on the bubble bath? Just so feminine. Oh, thank you, Miss Debbie. Well, we've got one more thing to do to finish this off. And these are retiring. And I think it was 20% off the 2426 in color resin dots. And so again, with my take your pick tool. And so when you see me, I'm always pressing on them first so the adhesive sticks to the embellishment and not the acetate sheet. Okay. There we go. Let's come down here. So we've got two sizes, and I am using them in Petunia Pop. So that's 5. Are we counting? Because you know what Grandma always said, you do things in odd numbers. 6 and number 7. Didn't they just finish it off? Oh, thank you, Miss Mimi. Oh, Miss Lauren. And there we go. So soft. Soft, 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 and stunning. It really is for such a simple card to make with the textured floral stamp set, textured floral dies, both retiring or called last chance products, and available now only while supplies last in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. Well, thank you, Miss Carol. Oh, you all are so sweet. And like you said, so easy to do. And those adhesive sheets really do make life easier. Okay, so let's do this. And, oh, you know what? I want to show you something. Hold on, hold on. A greeting. I just didn't want to take away from it. So I stamped on vellum, but it still was taking away. And I thought, oh, I could tuck it in. I had it tucked up under here. But I just love the pop of these dots, but I wanted you to see it. And oh, thank you, Miss Lynn. And I had the card class at church for the youth group for the youth camp scholarship Saturday, and showed them the nautical cards that I did Thursday. They loved them. And we were talking about how once we had a greeting, unless it's thinking of you or just a note, uh, it limits what we can use it for. And so I said, I personally feel every card does not have to have a greeting on it. And you can share with me if you think it really does or not. And if you think, boy, I'd like to add one. Well, this worked out on the vellum. And but it just was taking away more than I wanted, but it is really pretty. So I wanted you to see that there is an option there. Another option is if you needed a thank you card with a grateful heart, would fit down here. Okay, so there are always options. All right, so there we go. Just, but pink flowers. Does it get better than that? And we'll bring this up. There we go. And so, all right. So remember, okay, Miss Lauren agrees. No greeting. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the greeting sentiment, whatever we want can go inside. Because I was telling them, I said, it's been a long time, but I have seen cards, pre-made cards in the stores, whatever the brand, American Greetings, that some of them, the card is so pretty, there's no greeting on it either. So, but the beautiful thing is we can all do what we want. But yep, so several of you are saying you agree. You don't have to. Okay, wow. I thought more people would say absolutely you have to have a greeting. So this is cool. We're thinking alike. But if someone feels they do, add it. And the vellum was one option to not take away quite as much from it. So, well, thank you for joining me for I really do. I mean, pink, how do you go wrong? Pink flowers for my pretty textured floral card tutorial. And so there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot more to say, right? The new Stampin' rewards, I showed you how to opt in. And of course, right now, last chance products. Things are disappearing, so get on over to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, before your favorites get gone. I just don't want anyone to be disappointed. And there are discounts up to 60% off. Like these dies, 30%. Whoa! So, all right. I don't see any questions, but I am so glad you joined me this evening. I just so look forward to my Tuesday evenings with you and then some other times. And there we go. And so, yes, whenever I pop in, but for virtually 2 years, I've been here every Tuesday evening. I'm sure at some point that may, well, thank you, Miss Adelaide. You have to let me know. Is it Aid? Because I was saying Miss Adelaide, but I was told it's Adelaide. So you'll have to let me know if that's right. So anyway, every Tuesday you can count on it, but go ahead and subscribe to my channel and ask for notifications. So whenever I do schedule a second live video for the week, you'll get notified because I enjoy having you here. So, all right, it's that time of evening where I'll thank you again for joining me. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Good evening and God bless.